how many people like pizza? You get a large group, good thing, pizza's cheap, okay? So maybe we'll coordinate that one day, we'll get some pizza over at BJ's. It's a good thing. Now, I used to order pizza from Little Caesars when I was living in Minnesota. And when I would, now Little Caesars pizza, you call up on the phone and then you go pick up the pizza, right? And you either order pan, pizza, okay? And this was when I was a much younger man, I was working at 3M, and so I'd call up on the phone, I gave my order for pizza. I went and got my pizza, went home, and I opened up the pizza, and what did I see to my surprise?
Was the wrong pizza.
Wrong pizza, okay? What did I do to the pizza? Ate the pizza. And after I was comfortable on the sofa, what did I do? Call and complain. You got the routine there, okay? Call and complain. So I called up this very first time, and I was on the phone, and I'm talking to the manager. He says, I'm the manager. And I said, I told my problem. He says, yeah, I got all these kids working here, all these children working here. I'm sorry. I mean, we're talking no satisfaction out of that call. Just not a good call for me. A couple times later, what do you think happened? Go pick up my pizza, go home, open up the pizza. What do I see to my surprise?
Wrong pizza.
Wrong pizza. What do I do to the pizza?
Eat it.
Eat the pizza. And when I'm done comfortable on the sofa, what do I do? Call and complain. And so this young lady answered the phone, very polite young lady, and she's very, very polite. She says, well, I'm sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. I'll put you on the list. I said, well, what list?
They won't answer your calls from now on.
She says,
The cold blocker list.
she says, get free pizza list. And I'm thinking, great. And I said, well, what do I do the next time I come in? She says, just say you're on the list. They'll know what that means. I don't know. So I'm getting free pizzas like every other time I'm going in this place for the next 6 months. At least it felt that way. And on one infamous day of pizza history, it was a Friday and they were very busy. They had 3 lines where you could pay. And I got into the store and I barely could get in because it was very busy. The left line wasn't used, but the middle line and the right line were all the way back to the door. And so I got in there and I squeezed in there and I'm looking to people left and right a little bit, whispering a little bit, and I'm saying, do you have a problem with your order sometimes? Do you have a problem with your order sometimes? And what they said is like 3 of the people I asked said, yes, sometimes they have a problem with the order. And I didn't tell them about the list. No, I wasn't giving that up. So I finally got to the front of the line, and I got to that front of the line on an infamous day of pizza history. And I gave my name or phone number, I don't recall what they used. And within a few minutes, the young man came to the counter and no pizza in his hand. His head's hanging low. And he says, I'm sorry, sir, we can't find your pizza. Of course, I was a lot younger, a lot more ornery at that time, meaner at that time. And I think maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger may have heard me. Because I said to him this, in these famous words, I said, don't worry, you will. Just said it just like, I'll be back, you kind of seen the movie. Don't worry, you will. I was so mad. I left, got chicken, went home. Who do you think's calling on the phone 2 hours later?
This guy.
Little Caesars.
Oh.
He's calling on the phone 2 hours later. And they're not all happy with Peter. And they're saying, sir, we have a pizza for you here, sir. And I said to him in that same voice, I told you you'd find it. And I hung the phone right in the dude's face. Right in the face. I was so mad. I told you you'd find it. Boom! Right there. Now, a couple questions. What kind of variability did the pizza place have? Now, there's 2 types of variability. We'll cover some slides up there. There's common cause or normal variability. And that's what I would call what I accepted here. I accepted things that were normal to the process, common to the process. They came every single day and so forth. You see these things. Sometimes they come, sometimes they disappear. And there are reasons for common cause. We wrote them down. Special cause variation is something like a flat tire, something that really makes a big jam, a big change in the process, systematically changed, not predictable. Common cause variability is predictable within a band of variation. In my example earlier, I was predictable between 20 and 30 minutes, right? That was predictable. I used a mean of 25, standard deviation of 1.5, generated 30 data points, and you know, for the last 20 years, it gives me numbers between 20 and 30. It just kind of does that, and I did it right early here, and sure enough, did it again. Now, so when we look at the pizza place, what kind of variability do they have? Do they have systematic common cause variability?
Common cause.
Common cause variability. Why would you say that?
Because it continuously happens.
Continuously happens. What are some signals that happen?
Repetition in your wrong order.
I kept getting the wrong pizza, the wrong orders, okay? What else?
There was a list.
There was a list. They built it in their process. Their process had built it. I think we've all seen that. Built in the defect. It's in there. It's built in. Now, what kind of variation did the manager think he had? Special cause. In fact, he pointed to it. The kids working there, the children working there. And what do you think he did on the days they had a lot of bad orders?
Yell at the kids.
Yell at the kids. These kids, I can't find anybody to work anymore. This is a problem. We need to, these kids, I can't have these kids. I don't pay them enough money. I can't do this. When I went to the line on that infamous day of pizza history, what did I do when I was walking in the line? I asked some people a question, right? Why did I ask them a question?
Yeah, you wanted to figure out if it was special cause.
I wanted to figure out if I was a special cause. Because when I ordered my pizzas at my pizza eating career, I ordered tomato slices. And I watched very carefully how they took orders. They had a sheet of paper like this, and they would write down my name, and then they would put TS. And TS stands for tomato slices, right? Or is it extra tomato sauce? And so a lot of times when I'd get my pizzas, they'd be soupy pizzas. You know, extra tomato sauce. Didn't have my tomato slices, had my tomato sauce, but I was thinking somebody else has ordered something else and they're messing that up, you know. I don't know what it was, I just thought it was. Now, when I got to the front of the line, what did I do? What did I say?
Don't worry, you will.
I made a prediction. With all my heart, all my body, all my soul, all my being, I knew they were going to find that pizza.
You will find it.
I had no doubt in my mind that they were going to find that pizza because I knew they knew how to make pizza. I loved the way that cheese slid into that bread with that sauce. That my pizza eating career, that was it right there. Little Caesars Primo, right? That was it. I also knew they didn't know how to take orders. And they had this little sheet of paper, remember? And they wrote down your name, and then they put what they wanted, which people couldn't read it. And they had one of these old, these line things. You have to see the old restaurants, the old diners. And they had a clip on the paper, and they would push it down this line. And I was thinking to myself, you know, probably what happened is a piece of paper fell on the floor. You know what I'm saying? And they were very busy. Then after a couple hours, when they weren't so busy, what did they find?
Piece of paper.
Piece of paper on the floor, and they had my order, right? So I had no doubt they were going to find it. Now sometimes I do this, when we're about done here, I do this, and you guys have been very patient with me today on these couple examples. And I get some individuals, particularly some of the younger individuals, that are just plain mad at me. And they even shout out sometimes, boy, this is a dumb example. Why are you even showing us this? Or they'll shout out, why didn't you check your pizza? Oh yeah, why didn't you check your pizza? So why didn't I check my pizza?
You expect it to be accurate.
No, that's not true.
That's not your job.
It's not my job. No, we'll talk about that after lunch. You know, we've all seen the not my job award.
You want to have a good example for special and normal variation.
I want an example for my class. No.
You want to believe that they'll get it right.
No, I didn't believe they would get it right.
You have been practicing that phrase in the mirror for months and you wanted to use it.
You were hungry and wanted to go home.
You didn't want so cheap that what they did, somebody looks like they remember, is they actually took a piece of cardboard and they put a bag over the top of the pizza and they stapled it on the end. And I'm gonna tell you, you living in Minnesota, you're not gonna have a lot of friends at home if you open that pizza up, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna cool down. So, you know, a lot of things are built in the process. One of the things I'll ask you to think about at lunch is, you know, the pizza. Where are these pizza managers running around? You know, there's quite a few of them. We'll talk a lot more about this concept. So thanks for listening to the example. Let's go have some pizza right now. See you later. Thank you very much.